All right, guys, let's get into this Izan Almansa news. This one shocked me. So Ethan, you guys know I've interviewed Ethan. Really good kid. Really good kid. I did not expect Izan Almansa to go ahead and withdraw from the draft. That's not what I was expecting to happen. And I'm half. They definitely do not want me to interview him again. I wonder. But this is the report we're hearing. Izan Almansa, who, you know why? It's because he was not. This is a weak draft class, and he still couldn't go first round. Even though I would take Izan Almansa in the back end of the first, this kid might be going to either Spain or Australia. So he started playing for Real Madrid. He went to OTE, went then to G League, and at the World Cup, he actually played really good. And now he believes that if he plays for another team, he can establish himself as a first round pick in next year's draft. He got feedback that he needs to improve his offensive skill and his shooting ability to reach that potential. All right. Now, what do I think? What do I think with Izan Almansa going overseas? I think it's smart if you truly believe that he can be a first round pick. At best case scenario, the guy's Al Horford. There's no problem with that. That's fine. And I think when you look at Izan Almansa, he's a nice kid. He's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. But the problem there is he might just be it's just hard. Like, he might just be close to a finished product. And I like the kid. I wrote nice stuff about him. I interviewed him. I just don't know how he gets better after struggling. Not struggling, but not becoming what we thought he is. He's got great frame. He's like 6'8", 6'9", and he shot 55% from the field. And he finished the season well. He's got good vision. He can run the pick and roll. He's switchable as a defender. His problem is he's not a lob threat. He's not really, in terms of athleticism, great. He's kind of inconsistent from outside. He struggled to go against bigger post-up players, and he's not quick enough to go against players on the perimeter, and he falls short of being an offensive focal point, and he's still developing. So one of the notes we had was there's moments where he's been better than most bigs in the G League, but we don't know if he translates to the NBA. He's not a big time shooter or lob threat. He's not playing a lot of the ball with your back to the basket in the NBA these days, and that's sometimes his game. He's got good size and feel. He can pass it, and I think he's a guy that if he can go overseas, develop his jumper, and show he can win and be more productive on a different team, I think that could be the saving grace for him in terms of what his future could be, and maybe not NBA wise, but professionally. I think this season, I think he can make it the NBA. I just think might be, unless he has an incredible year next year, I think there is going to have to be a learning curve in the G League. Regardless if he's a first round pick, he's going to have to spend some more time in the G. No offense to him. I think he's a fantastic player. Unless he blows me away next year in overseas, either in Australia or if he's playing next year in Spain, because he is Spanish, and I would not be surprised if Real Madrid, or I don't think he would go to Real Madrid. He would go to a bad team. Real Madrid, he would not play on Real Madrid. But it's all, I think he just needs to, it's crazy how bad this draft is. The fact that he could not be guaranteed a first round pick is a bit telling of his skill level. So I just think next year's a very good draft. So he might have to wait 2 years before seriously actually having a chance to go over, to come into the draft and be a first round pick. He's young, though. He's young. So if he were to do it, I would not be surprised if he would be the one to be able to do it. Now, Bruce Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead. Ooh, a little bit bad. The Bruce Brown. Now, wait. All right, I guess before we talk about this, do I really think this draft sucks? No. I think the top of the draft is not as good as it's been in years past. I actually think outside of, let's say, the top five picks, 5 through 70 is closer than it ever has been in many drafts. So what do I mean like that? If you go undrafted, or let's say Enrique Freeman might be closer in being having an impact similar to a guy drafted in the after the lottery or at the end of the lottery. So there's a chance that guys who are drafted in the second round, who go undrafted, who are drafted at the back end of the first round, that outside of the top 5 picks could have day one impacts, similar day one impacts, better day one impacts, be better pros have. So I think the thing is this is a weaker draft class in terms of top end talent. Like, there is no guaranteed all-star in this draft like there is typically, but there are way more players with higher floors to truly believe that X, Y, and Z are going to be able to have a impact because of their fundamentals. While other draft, there are a lot more outside of like the top 30 dudes, a lot more crapshoot. This draft has less of a crapshoot outside. Like, the crapshoot is really who you believe the 5 best prospects is. While in other drafts, the crapshoot begins, we know who the top 10 prospects are. The crapshoot is who are the remaining 50. In this draft, ironically, it is the other way around, where who are the top 5 prospects, because that is so subjective, and it is whatever you believe are the best traits available, while the rest of the draft, people would agree, is actually deeper and has a higher floor because there are a lot older prospects and a lot more fundamentally sound guys who are more kind of specialists, and we know what they are, instead of a lot more amoebas that are just full of potential, and we're like, oh, let's just throw them out, paint on the wall, and figure out if they can figure it out or not. While there's a lot more guys that, like you said, a Jalen Tyson, where we know that can make an impact because they're a little older. So I think that's the best way to explain it. Now, I don't know. I like ate lunch, and like now I want to brush my teeth. I don't feel like I don't have anything, but like I just felt like there was stuff there. But